I just want to be fun. Like, I'm not fun. As a guy, I'm not a fun guy. I want to be so bad. I'll see people having fun and be like, that looks dope. And I'll tell you this, there's nothing less fun than catching somebody watch you have fun. Because that happens to me all the time. There are times where I'm standing to the side and I'm watching somebody have fun. And no matter what you're doing that's fun, as you catch somebody watching you have fun, you stop. You stop immediately what you're doing. You'll be having fun, whether you're dancing, you be riding go-karts, whatever. And then if you just see someone off to the side like me, like, yeah. You look like you're having a good time. You were immediately not having a good time. It's the worst. It's so bad. I hate it. I don't like being the one to do. I didn't know that when you at a party and people are dancing and you are not dancing, you watching them dance. I didn't know you're supposed to move your head to the rhythm. I didn't know you're supposed to move your head to the rhythm side to side. I didn't know that's what we were doing. Like when people are dancing and they're over there, you're like, yeah, I didn't know it was that. I've done two very off things. One, I didn't know I was supposed to move my head if I was watching people dance, and I was supposed to move my head to the beat. So one time there were these people dancing, and then they caught me watching them have fun, but I was being completely still. And that is also heroin. You know what I mean? Like, you really getting it, and then somebody off to the side against the wall is like, yeah. Keep doing that. It's very upsetting, you know? And like I said, I didn't know we were supposed to move our head side to side. So then there was another time I was like, okay, I'm supposed to move my head to the beat. So then I was moving my head to the beat, but I was going back and forth. And that is also unsettling to watch. You're dancing and somebody's like, yeah, to the rhythm, yes. Yeah, get it, get it. I just want to be fun. I want to be fun like, Brazilians are very fun. Brazilians as a people, they have incredible music, beautiful dancing, they're beautiful people and they know how to have fun. I read about a guy who was so fun. This guy partied for 4 days straight. 4 full days of party. He partied from New Year's Eve well into the new year. So first, then 3 days. He partied for 4 days straight without realizing he had been shot in the head. That's a fun guy. That's a very, very fun individual, you know? This dude got shot in the head and went to more parties and was more fun. If I get shot, I don't know about y'all, but if I get shot in the head, I die, all right? Maybe that's just how I was raised, but like, I don't get shot in the head and keep carrying on twerking. I go to another plane where the mortal coil cannot follow, all right? This dude got shot in the head and went to more parties and was progressively more fun per party. If I get shot in the head, that is everybody's problem. I'll tell you that right now. If I got shot in the head tonight, we are all going to the hospital. Please believe me. And I will be calling out individuals if I see you trying to peel off. I'm like, no, Cindy, I need you. This man was shot in the head. And we don't even know the circumstances of him getting shot in the head. I was reading about it. Nobody knows this. Okay, I came up with some theories because no one knew. I think there may be, you know how guys can be at a party, you know, you're out here dancing or you're walking with your drink, somebody bumps into you, doesn't apologize. Now we have a problem, right? So now you get nose to nose trying to get them to apologize. Then you get loud and everybody's watching. And then you get like fully, you know like when dudes do this, like this full on in my face, our noses are touching. This is always weird. Anytime I see this, I'm like, y'all should just kiss. It would make more sense if you kiss right now. Because this is the thing. If he's here and I'm here, he could still really, he could choke me, he could do anything, right? Like, this is real fighting could happen right here. Here, you're a little too close. Here, there really isn't anything you would punch us if you punch me right now. And so maybe, you know, they got into it. They got nose to nose or whatever. They were ready to fight. And then maybe this dude was like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do has got more people killed than any other sentence in language. It goes, what you gonna do, followed closely by, I wouldn't take that if I was you. It's like, those two are deadly, right? So then maybe he goes, what you gonna do? And then the other guy pulls out a gun and shot him in the head. And then he went, rude. And then walked about his business, because clearly it didn't matter. He had been shot in the head. The head is where they keep all the brains. I don't know how this man was shot in his head and didn't know. I mean, look, what I think actually happened is that he was probably getting twerked on. Twerking is very distracting. If you're getting twerked on by the right person, you won't notice anything else happening in the room. He was probably like, girl, you getting it. Oh my God, you really getting it. You really getting it. Don't worry about that. That's just a loud noise, baby girl. Keep doing what you doing. Oh. No, it's wild. They asked him at the hospital. When he finally went to the hospital, they were like, you've clearly been shot in the head. What did you think happened? And he was like, oh, I thought I got hit in the head with a rock. That's the most shot in the head thing to say I've ever heard in my entire... You know, like when you at a party and you having a good time and everybody just starts throwing rocks? You know that common occurrence that happens at every party where everybody's having fun, we're all dancing, and then that one guy goes, pebbles for everybody. You know that thing that happens all the time to each and every one of us. Thought you got hit in the head with a rock. What? Only reason he went to the hospital is that his arm was spasmic. But he didn't even go right away. He was probably getting twerked on in the moment. It was like, girl, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. You're really getting it. Oh my God. That's amazing. Everything you're doing is great. They finally stopped dancing after like a day. I don't know. And then she was like, where do you live? Let's go back to your place. He was like, girl, I live over there. And she was like, where? He's like, I'm pointing right at it, girl. She's like, what's wrong with your arm? He's like, oh, this has been happening for 3 days, girl. I saw this video of this guy who was at a white guy in Alabama that was at a Bass Pro Shop. So far, whole story checks out, right? So far, nothing is out of the ordinary, right? And this dude is very much on drugs. I don't know what drugs, but I know drugs, right? He's on drugs. Now, the story starts in the parking lot. He drives up to the Bass Pro Shop, and he immediately drives his car into a light pole at the Bass Pro Shop in the parking lot, and then he backs up and does it 8 more times, chops it down like a tree, right? And then he gets out and walks in the Bass Pro Shop. So you already know my man is ready to play. And so, walks in the Bass Pro Shop. The video starts where it starts, so I don't know what happened in between. I don't know when he got naked. All I know is this dude... The video starts with this dude, and he just been doing cannonballs into the Bass Pro Shop fish tank. So these fish are all compromised, all right? So he is doing naked cannonballs over and over again. He getting deep, and this thing. I'd like to think they called the police when he got naked, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they were like, let's see what he does. And so my man is just climbing up, dunking, and then you can tell he's on drugs because he's speaking drugs, right? Because then in the video, he swims to the front of the tank and he's like, and when I heard that, I was like, that's drugs. That's not the native tongue of any land. And so the police come. So now we're gonna switch for a second from people recording him on their phones to the police body cam, right? So police show up, they see him in the fish tank, and they see him, and he waved to them. It's not really phased. And so then they are trying to figure out how he got up there. So then they go ahead and they start climbing up some of the rocks, right? So then they turn, police body cam, they turn, and when they turn to him, in the tank. He's gone. And so you're like, okay, he on drugs, but is he magic? Because that's a different situation. Can you imagine if a magician is on drugs? David Blaine already like that. Imagine David Blaine on drugs. That'd be a problem. Make you feel like you on drugs. And so then he's gone. He's gone because even though he's on drugs, he had the presence of mind that, hey, that's the police. They probably won't talk to me. And so then he jumped out of the tank. But the tank is like 18 feet high, right? So this man, naked, jumped out of the tank just onto the ground, and he landed Family Guy style, right? So this dude has knocked himself out on the ground, right? And he laying over here like this, like he just fully passed out. And you can even hear a cop through another cop's body cam turn, and he's not there, and then they see him on the ground, and you hear another cop go, oh shit. And then they come down. Now this man is like fully out, right? But he is on drugs. And so the drugs do wake him up just in time because now the cops are over him, right? I don't know if they had actually grabbed his wrist yet or anything, but this dude immediately wakes up on drugs, flips over, and kicks one of the cops in the balls, right? So that cop goes down. I don't know the code for it, but he's not getting back up for a minute, okay? And now the cops are all have bent knees because they're like, okay, we got a live one here. Like, he got a lot of fight in him, right? And I almost never feel bad for the police. But in this instance, I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty bad for those officers because they try to catch a dude who is on drugs and naked and wet, so he is very hard to catch. Basically impossible. Because every time they grab this man, he over here like, no, no, thank you, no jail for me, no. And he's slippery as a fish, so they really can't get a hold of him. No, jail doesn't feel nice. No, I don't want it. And it's horrible because then there's really nothing to grab. And I'm telling you, because he was naked in the tank and we saw it, there's nothing to grab, right? So they are fighting to catch this dude. They finally get a hold of him because I think they just been drying him off this whole time. You know what I mean? Through the entire scuffle. And they finally get him handcuffed and they're walking him out. And as they're walking about, this is back on people's phones now. As they're walking about, he walking past people who've been recording him on their phones and he's going, ba, 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 ba. Now this next part is not on camera. I had to read about this. They take him outside, they put him in the back of the cop car, and this is the first time where even though he is on drugs, he's not having a good time. Because now he in the back of the cop car going, this feels unfair. And then on drugs, he starts kicking the door, and because he's on drugs, even though he got a naked, wet foot, he is so strong that he is kicking the car door so hard, he is warping the metal, right? And I saw that, and I was like, he must kick that cop's dick off. Like, that's horrible. Police had to come out and make a statement the next day where they were like, we hope that his actions on camera will lead to better decisions in the future. Also, we expect Officer Ortiz to make a full recovery. I try to be a good friend to my friends with anxiety, because I have anxiety too, but like, it's hard to really be there for someone with anxiety because they're right. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you ever really listen to an anxious person talk, they're making some very salient points. Like, their points are actually so good, it's starting to jack up my anxiety, because I was like, fuck, I didn't think about that. Oh, no! That's the worst. I'll tell you this, one time, one time a friend called me, and he was not doing well at all. And he was telling me how he wanted to, you know, end it and everything. And then just started describing to me everything that was wrong in his life. And as I listened to my friend, I realized that we had the same life. And I'd be lying if I said I'd get a little defensive. Because he over here telling me, he's like, I can't do it anymore. I'm a grown man eating TV dinners every night. And I'm like, well, maybe you're doing your best, all right? It's like I'm doing open mics every night to a bunch of people who just feel like I'm bothering them while they try to watch the game. I'm like, well, maybe you're gonna get better one day. It's weird how much anxiety there is over the election. Like truly nobody's happy. Like everybody's like, ah. You even feel how it got in here? Everybody was like bummed out. You know? It's odd, right? Because it's like a rematch nobody wanted. It feels really, really crazy. And that's why, if I'm being honest with you, I try to think a lot about how to solve big problems, right? And I'm not a doctor. I'm not an engineer. I'm not even helpful, all right? But I think about how to solve big problems. And I think that in this scenario, and I want to be clear where I'm coming from. I'm not like, I mean this across the board, you know? I grew up in Louisiana. I lived in Chicago. I live in New York now. I travel around the country. I'm not just speaking with like some partisan idea in mind. I'm saying I think that for this election, and just this one, right? For this one election, that the presidential race should be a race. Because no matter who wins, I think we will be more astonished than upset. You know what I mean? Like, no matter who wins, we're gonna be like, I didn't know he had it in him. That's wild.
Hey, hey, I took a break last night. Had to get myself together. I took a
Cool. Everybody sit down. Thank you so much for coming out. Give it up for yourselves again. Oh my gosh. We're all here. We made it. Oh man. It's so great to be here with all of you. This is incredible. This is absolutely amazing. Because it means we did it. We lived. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think I'd make it. I didn't even get COVID, I'm just not a survivor. That's not how anybody I know would describe me. I'll even tell you what, a year before the pandemic, right? Fully before the pandemic, I was just walking in New York, just looking up at the sky, loving my life, right? Just looking up, being happy, and I stepped off the curb. That's all that's happened so far. I stepped off the curb and I stepped on a bird, okay? Here's the thing, not a dead bird, okay? This bird was just also walking around not paying attention, loving his life. We just collided with nature, humanity at once. And so I stepped on the bird and I freaked out, and the bird and I made the same noise. That is not somebody that survives a global pandemic, all right? If you can match the pitch of a pigeon out of fear, then no. No one is checking for you in the Mad Max movie, all right? You died in the first 5 seconds in that montage about what went wrong with the world. It's just you and a bird like, ah! Like that's how it ends. This is insane, you know? A global pandemic. Last year was crazy because it was the first thing that ever happened that happened to everybody. That's wild. That didn't even happen in the world wars. And they're named after the world. You know? There were some countries like, we good. We're just gonna sit out this one. Y'all seem to be working a thing out over there, so we kind of little. We don't need to be dusted up in that. You know? Some people thought it was the end of the world, which is why I'm pretty sure that in all that chaos, in all that uncertainty, in all that fear, that somebody, somewhere, definitely ate a person. That happened, all right? And we need to talk about it, okay? It's more likely that it happened than that it didn't happen. You can't tell me out of 7 billion people, nobody was strong enough and dumb enough not to eat somebody too quick, okay? To just get arrested this year, like, okay, I'm the only one who ate somebody, all right? I'm going. How was I supposed to know next year there'd still be Captain Crunch, all right? I'm going. Can I just say something, though? Can I just say something? Nobody even liked Dave, okay? That's why it took y'all so long to catch him. Nobody was checking for Dave. Okay, I'm going. Nobody was checking for Dave. Oh, can I say something else? Can I just say something else real quick? He was a little gamey. He was a little dry, all right? So now I gotta go to jail off a meal that wasn't even good off of a dude that nobody liked. Where's the justice? He was a 1-star meal and person, all right? I'm going, that's it. The thing that bothers me now is that now that there's vaccines and, you know, there's whole game plans for how we're gonna attack this thing, there are people that wanna act like they knew it was gonna be okay the entire time. They wanna act like they were cool the whole time, and that bothers me. It makes me mad, you know? Doctors were like, we've never seen anything like this before, all right? And you were like, no, I think it'll be fine. No, that's not true. Everybody was at least a little bit panicked. And you know how I know that? Remember that food run in March? Remember that food where people thought it was the end of the world, and they ran past the food to the toilet paper. They thought we were all gonna die, and they ran past the cheese snacks to what they were gonna wipe their butt with. There's never been a better ad for a bidet. There's never been a better ad for a bidet than a soccer mom punching an old lady in the face for some Charmin. She hits the ground, lady's running with it under her arm. Even the mascot bear is like, ooh. You know? But you knew it would be okay. Come on. I knew some people that were quarantined with their whole family the entire time. You know? Like 7 people in like a 2-bedroom house. Oh. Let's say it happens. Society crumbles. The infrastructure fails. It's time to start eating people. There were people that were just looking at their fattest cousin like it's gonna be you, all right? What you gonna do, run? No, it's too late for that, all right? Plus he diabetic, so I know he gonna be sweet, okay? Like how that was a line for you. We've been eating people for 4 minutes straight of eating people jokes, and diabetic was where you were like, ooh. Not if they taste like cake. The pandemic definitely made me glad that I grew up black in America. You know what I mean? Because nothing prepares you for a pandemic in America like being black in regular America. You know what I mean? You're sitting there like, what? Wait, what's that you say? Food is scarce, medical attention is hard to come by, and jobs in the community are being lost by the thousands? What is this, a Tuesday? Even now that we have a vaccine and there's a light at the end of the tunnel, there's a lot of black people that don't want to take it. And I understand. I do get it. They don't want to take it because of history. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not on science's side. We've been experimented on before and we remember. But I will say, I'm fully vaccinated. That's the first time anybody's clapped for my asthma. That is incredible. Okay, I'll take it. But I am fully vaccinated, and I would tell all the black people that I know in my life and out of it that this is the one to get. And I know it's the one to get because they didn't want to give it to us right away. Don't get me wrong. If you're just out playing basketball and some white men in white coats just walk up like, would you kids like some free medicine? Then yeah, no. Back away. But there were whole states that were like, wait your turn, nigger. That's how you know it's the good stuff. I'm sorry about the truth. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I know last year was scary. It was. Because some people's worst fears came true last year. There's some people whose worst fear in their entire life is losing their job and not being able to provide for their family, and that happened. There's some people whose worst fear in their entire life is getting sick and being a burden on the people that they love, and that happened. I had my worst fear in my entire life come true last year. I got a bee stuck in my hair. I know it doesn't sound like it matches up, but let me explain. First of all, I am deathly allergic, okay? If I get stung, I will die. Me plus B equals dead, okay? That's the quick math for you. And this thing came in hot, all right? It shot in my hair like it belonged there. And at first, I just tried to whip my hair back and forth, try to get it out. That didn't help at all. It just got it more stuck. So now I am running up to people screaming for help, but there is no quicker way to look schizophrenic than running up to people screaming for help and they can't see the threat, all right? So now I'm running up to white people in the park ruining picnics, okay? I am stepping in people's pesto, I'm slipping in hummus. I fell and snapped a whole charcuterie board. And I know what I should have done. I should have run up and I should have been like, hey, I'm so sorry, but if I could get your attention for just a second, there's a bee in my hair and I'm deathly allergic. If you could help me out, that would be a literal lifesaver, okay? I was too panicked for any of that, all right? So I just ran up on him like, it's in me! Can't you hear it? It's gonna kill me! And I forgot to mention up top that when I slipped in the hummus, I rolled my ankle. So I didn't even get to run up on the regular. I was running up, I'm like, it's in me! Can't you hear it? It's gonna kill me! People were running away from me. It was terrible. It was absolutely horrible. And this is the thing that bothered me the most, the thing that really stressed me out, even broke my heart a little bit, was this was the one time in my entire life that I needed white people to touch my hair and they were nowhere to be found. I wasn't asking, I was begging. I was like, I'm gonna die. And they were like, no, I know better. I learned about this, all right? I went to Vassar, you're not gonna get me canceled. I took a sensitivity class, where's the Twitter? Well, I developed a lot of pet peeves in the pandemic, you know? A lot of things that didn't bother me before that definitely bother me now. Really upset me. Like, I'm done with horoscopes. You can read yours, but don't read me mine, okay? And I say I'm done because they're too esoteric for me, you know? You'll find love in love's place when love's ready to do love's thing. You think? Wow. You basically just said something's gonna happen eventually. That's your prediction. I would just rather a horoscope with less words. That would make me happier. I would rather open up a newspaper, go down to where it says Pisces, and it just says, don't. I'm sure I was gonna do something dumb that day. The other reason I'm done with them is because, you know, everybody here was born. Everybody here's got a sign, whether you believe in it or not. Everyone has one, right? How did everybody's horoscope miss a global pandemic? It was coming whether you were like a Leo or a Libra or like the scales or the dolphin and the dog, whatever it is. It was coming no matter what. So I still have people who have the nerve to read me by horoscope. And like, it says something very special is on the way for you. Really? It couldn't have said mask up March 15th? That would have still been mysterious. I had a hard time in lockdown. I really did. In quarantine, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Because it made a liar out of me. It did. Because I've always said, my entire life, if I just had the time. Oh, if I had the time, I'd learn another language. I'd get ripped. I'd learn how to build a house. Turns out, if you lock me in my room for 9 months, I won't do any of those things. I would just rather watch TV until I fall asleep in succession. I watched TV and fell asleep so many times that the only way that I knew if I ate was if I woke up with Dorito dust on my collar. I was just waking up middle of the day, just, oh, thank God, That became my life. My life just became screens, nonstop. It was either my phone or my computer or my TV, nonstop. I was either on the internet or I was watching something, and it got to be a lot. It got to the point where I knew I needed to take a break, you know? So I decided to do it. I put everything down, I turned everything off, and I just sat in my room, and I would just sit and I would think. Just try to be alone with myself in a quiet place, like suss myself out, get to know what I'm really about in here. And that was a terrible mistake. It was a terrible, it was one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. First of all, I'm just sitting thinking. I'm not thinking after reading. I'm just thinking raw ass thoughts. These aren't good thoughts. These are just things I normally be too distracted by TV to think. And they were real dumb. And that was heartbreaking. It was. I always thought if I just sat and thought I'd come up with a theory or something. And I was just sitting there like, oh my God, all of these things are dumb. Am I dumb? Is this how dumb people find out? Because that last thing was real dumb and I'm the only one talking. That's what happens when you sit with your thoughts. But I knew I had to take a break. I knew it because I got to the point where I wasn't sure if I knew who I was when there wasn't a screen in front of my face. You know? Because I know it sounds bad to say, but there's an online me and there's an in-person me. And I know it sounds fake to say that, but it's true. You know? And I'm scared that the online version is better. I am. Because online, I try to educate people, you know? I take up for people that I don't know. I fight for causes that I believe in. But in real life, I saw my friend Sean get jumped and I was like, he probably did something. I don't see how that's my business, you know? Honestly, it wouldn't be three of them if he didn't do it, if he didn't deserve it, you know? In fact, let me turn around. I don't like him screaming my name like that. I don't want to be involved. You know? Online, I try to educate people that I feel like are being ignorant. But you know what I don't do in real life? Read. Like, I don't know where I get off talking down to people. Because I got a keyboard in front of me. Online, I tell people I don't know to keep following their dream. Okay? I tell them that they can do it. I don't know if they can do it. I keep telling them that they can do it, okay? And in real life, I gave a street performer money to stop. I was online. And I saw this guy making fun of this kid for being too skinny because he posted a workout video and there was this big dude making fun of him, right? And so I told him, hey, if you want to get your ass beat, come to this address. And in real life, I gave my buddy Sean's address. You know what I mean? Like, how was I supposed to know he was gonna be two other people? That's just unfair. Because I'm also relearning how to be in the world. You know, I was awkward before, but I'm insufferable now. I am almost a year out of practice from being weird. Like I go on walks, and I remember I left the house for this walk, right? And while I was on it, I bumped into a guy. And we bumped into each other hard because we both just weren't paying attention. And when I bumped into him, I immediately whipped around to apologize. But when I turned around, he was standing there, and a gun had fallen out of his waistband. And so I looked at the gun, and I looked at him. And he looked at the gun, and he looked at me. And here's the thing, I was raised in the South, right? So I was raised to be polite. I was raised to, you know, make people feel comfortable, be affable and everything. So out of pure instinct, I knelt down to pick up this man's gun. And about halfway down, I was like, let me not put my fingerprints on this loose gun. He doesn't even have a holster. I am sure he is gonna do something illegal with this gun. And so I just stood back up, and then he knelt down, and he picked it up, and he put it back in his waistband. And we just stared at each other. And then I went, Evening. I've never in my life. Evening, sir. I don't know why, but I felt like if I skipped, he wouldn't shoot me. You know what I mean? I'm a moving target. So, as I was on a walk, because that's all I do now. Just leave the house and walk till I get tired and then come home and fall asleep and walk again. I'm basically my own dog. Because during lockdown, what else could you do? You could only go for, everything was closed. You know? And so, I was on this walk and I actually got to see a public proposal. And I saw this guy stand in front of this woman and he took a step back and he knelt. He whipped a ring out, he popped it open, asked her to marry him. And then she hit him in the head with a rock. And I am not a relationship expert, but that seems like a hard no. That's a fast pass right there, you know? And I don't know them. I don't know what's going on with them or anything, so I just had to insert something for myself. And if I'm being honest, last year, a lot of people moved in together real quick. They were like, listen, it's the end of the world. I'm not paying 2 rents, all right? Let's just live together. I like you enough. We'll survive. So people partnered up, and maybe that's what happened to them. They partnered up early in the pandemic, and every day, he fell more and more in love with her. And every day, she got sicker and sicker of him. You know, month 2, they're sitting at the breakfast table. And he's just looking at her. He's just thinking. He's not saying anything that's out loud. He's just thinking, wow. The world may never be normal again. The world may be changed forever as we know it, and I get to be sitting across from this beautiful woman. This amazing woman that she even eats cute. Look at her eating her cereal. Little bites. She's just too cute, you know? And then she's sitting across from him thinking, is this motherfucker watching me chew? I don't like him looking deep in my mouth like that. That is weird as hell. Make me not even want my food anymore. Month 4. They're laying down watching a movie together. He has both of her hands in his hands. And he's just thinking like, look at these little hands. Look at these dainty little hands. She has the cutest hands in the world. And then she's thinking, this clammy bitch. How did he even get his hands this wet? Did he wash his hands before he sat down to watch the movie? My hands are soaking wet right now. I am sopping wet. I got a cup of water in my hand right now from his weak fingers rubbing up against my hands. Month 8. Maybe they're on a walk or something. Maybe they're actually able to go out and do a thing. You know, not much is open, but maybe they go to like a froyo place or something. They're eating it together, and he's like, look at the little, ooh. Look at her eating the little froyo. You know what? I can't wait. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ask this beautiful woman to marry me. I'm gonna get down on one knee and ask this angel to make me the happiest man in the world. And then she was sitting there thinking, if his head was just a little lower, I bet I could knock it clean off. I bet I could crack his damn cerebellum if he gave me the chance. Because I should mention, I don't know if I mentioned it up top, but when she hit him in the head with a rock, she didn't pick up the rock. She just had a rock on her, okay? She was just as ready to hit him in the head with a rock as he was to propose. Both just walking all day with a rock in their back pocket, and hers was just bigger. Because I should point out, I wasn't the only one who saw this. You know, with any public proposal, a crowd gathered around. People were awing. People started to clap. This proposal got claps, but it only got 2 claps. Because people saw him kneel and they were like, that is so beautiful. We should mind our business. Let's just go. When I was trying to take a break from my phone, you know what I really missed? My phone. I did. It was like, it hurt. It was weird. It's hard to even explain. You know? And it's when it occurred to me that no one will ever love anyone as much as you love your phone. I know it sounds sad to say, but it's true. It is. You know? I've had conversations with people, deep, long conversations, where I was like, wow, right now in this moment, I think I'm making a friend for life. I've opened up to this person more than I've opened up to anyone in years. And eventually, they do just pull out their phone and start like checking some. And that's supposed to be rude, but it's not rude. The phone is better. It is. You can do anything you want on the phone, and I'm just yapping about my parents' divorce. They pull out the phone like, this is way better than what was happening 2 seconds ago. Oh my God. Oh, he's still going. He is a mess. You know? I drop my phone sometimes. I don't know if anyone else here does. But think about the noises you make when you almost drop your phone. The true heartbreaking noises that you make. It hadn't even hit the ground yet. You're like, oh, 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 oh. That was just it slipping through one finger. It's still in your hand, but you, oh, 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 oh. And you mean it. It's coming from deep in here. It's coming from the heart. You couldn't mean it more. It's biological in you to make that noise when you're dropping your baby. Now think of the noises we make when we see actual car accidents. Oh, that's messed up. I hope everybody okay. That looks terrible. You see how those should be reversed? Because truly, I drop my phone and I go through all 5 stages of grief. I really do. You know? I drop it, it hits the ground, denial. That's not a crack, that's just a hair, all right? That's just a hair, and as soon as I wipe it, I'm gonna be Gucci, okay? My phone is fine. I did not just mess up my phone just now. I'm good. Anger, 4. I can't believe I just dropped this phone right outside the Apple store. I am standing, I bought it 6 seconds ago. Cashier still looking me in the face. He waving at me. And I dropped this phone through these brittle fingers. Bargaining, that's just the case. That's the case. Whole job is to be like the Secret Service of the phone and take the hits for the phone. So that's what it just like a little soldier. It took that hit, it cracked. My phone is fine though. Depression, my ex was right. I don't handle responsibility well at all. And that's why she left, and honestly, I think she made the right move. Acceptance, you know what? I just don't deserve nice things. Okay? I don't know where I get off getting it. I should have got a Nokia like I deserve. I've been visiting more people now that things are opening up and stuff. And I went to visit one of my friends who I haven't seen since before any of the pandemic. You know, I haven't seen him in a whole year. And he lives with his mom, his dad, his grandma, and his cousin. And it was so good to see all of them hang out a little bit, catch up and stuff. But while I was there, not sure how to. While I was, basically, my boy's grandma got a crush on me, and I don't know what to do about it. And I heard a couple ahs. This is not a Hallmark crush, all right? This woman has carnal intentions towards my body, okay? She's not messing around. Okay, I was hanging out there, and first of all, she wait till everybody leave the room to hit on me. That's how you know she a predator, okay? She wait till she can make it he said, she said, right? So then everybody left the room for a different reason. She got right up on me, just in my face, all over me. And I tried to let her down easy. I tried to make it scientific about the pandemic, you know? I was like, ma'am, we should social distance. Because, right now I'm not vaccinated, you're not vaccinated, okay? And you're in a high-risk demographic. I would hate for something to happen to you, all right? That's what I said. And then she went, oh, sweetie, I'm high risk and high reward. So I just stuck to my buddy like glue. Anywhere he went is where I went in the house. I was right behind him everywhere he went. I just didn't want to be left alone with her again, because that means she's aggressive, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, she old, but I think she faking it. Because she's old, but she's fast. Because we would leave the room, and she wouldn't be in the room with us at all, and I would turn around, she'd just be right behind me. I'm like, are you running? How are you doing this? But she was behind me, and she pinched my butt. And pinching butts is that old lady sexual harassment that nobody cares about, you know? Even if I tell people, like, she got me, all right? They're like, well, she's 85. You should have been faster, okay? Honestly, just move. But she did. She pinched my butt and then whispered in my ear, you firm like my mattress. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. I am going to leave. And so I left, and I don't know how, but she got my number. I think she got it out of my buddy's phone when he wasn't paying attention. And she has been sending me non-stop thirst traps, okay? But they're granny thirst traps, so it's just pictures of food that she cooked. But still, there is innuendo involved, you know? She sent me a picture of a cobbler and then text me under it, I could break you off some if you want to come on through. I was like, I am going to throw my phone in the river. I hate this way more than I love my phone. I just want people to be happy. I feel like we can be happy if we get out of our own way. Like, I have friends who are trying to date in New York and stuff, and especially my female friends will talk to me about their troubles trying to date in, like, metropolitan city, trying to date in the age of the apps and everything. And I even had one friend, she came to me with this list, and it was the list of everything that she wanted in a guy, you know? And I told her honestly, because I care about her, I need you to take that list and throw it in the trash, all right? Burn it if you have to, if that will help you forget the memory. I'll tell you right now, there's only 3 things. There's only 3 attributes that you could hope for in a guy that you're gonna make a partner. There's only 3. You need to pick 2, okay? You need to pick 2 of those 3. Whichever 2 you can live with, and move on, because you're not gonna get all 3. I hate it for you, but it's not gonna happen. I'll go over them right now. There's good dick, good person, got his shit together. You need to pick 2 of those 3. Whichever 2 work for you, and move on. And if he has 1, leave. Don't let a 1 ruin your life. Just 1? I have friends complain to me about their 1s, and I'm falling asleep listening to the story because it's just boring. It's like, well, you told me you had 1 to begin with, so what are we really talking about? If he's just a good person, doesn't have good dick, doesn't have his shit together, just a good person? That's a friend. Like, that's... Y'all can hang out on the weekends, go to museums. I don't know why you're trying to force more, you know? If he's just good dick. Just good dick. Not a good person. Doesn't have a shit together. Just good dick. That's literally a dildo. That's what a dildo is for. Why are you stressed out? Make a mold of his dick in his sleep and leave. Nobody puts their vibrator back in the drawer like, Eva got my birthday. Like, that's... It's not gonna happen if you treat it like what it's for. Because you're not gonna get all three. And I hate it for you. I really do. Sincerely. And every time I have this conversation with my friends, sometimes they get upset. Not every time. Sometimes they do get upset. And they're like, no. No, he has all three. No. No, he has all three. I know it. I feel it. I feel it here and here and here. No. He has all three. If you really think he has all three, he's gonna kill you. All right? That is a murderer putting on a facade, okay? I'm sure all 33 women thought Ted Bundy had all three, you know? Saying like, no, Ted, it's just nice, you know? It's just nice to meet a guy that like has his shit together as a lawyer and everything, and like knows his way around the bedroom, knows how to listen. Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, like that's how it went every time. But you know what? You want to know what bothers me? What really upsets me? What even scares me a little bit? I don't know which two I am. Because I don't get to decide, you know? That's another person's decision about me. I'm scared I'm gonna be laying back with my girl years from now, right? Years from now, just laying back, we're talking about this, and I lean over to her, and I'm like, I'm good dick and a good person, right? And she's like, you have a great job, all right? Last year was tough because I also lost people, you know? We all did to a certain degree. We lost people, and some of the people that I lost, like I had a friend who passed away, and he passed away during the height of infection, so we couldn't gather, we couldn't go all be together and mourn him properly. And so we had to have a Zoom funeral. I don't know if you've been to a Zoom meeting, but this had all the awkwardness of a Zoom meeting, but added as a funeral. It was terrible. Because at least at a funeral, at a real funeral, right? We're all facing the body. We're all collectively facing the same direction, looking at the body. And on Zoom, we are all facing each other. And I'm not gonna lie, not everybody looks upset enough for me, okay? There's some people whose screens are blue. I'm like, you playing Cyberpunk. I could already tell. Why are you blue and nobody else is blue? There was one dude that was just eating chips. Like, how you gonna let him eat the chips? He just eating chips and then take it off because then he making noise eating the chips. Completely unmuted. It's just Preacher Pringles, Preacher Pringles, Preacher Pringles. I know you at your house, but this is a funeral. No, it was horrible. People didn't know they weren't muted. There was one dude that was like, it's a funeral. No, it's a funeral. Willie died. I told you Willie died. Look, he on the screen right here. Come look. Come look. They got him all messed up, though. They messed up that last haircut. I wouldn't let him bury me like that. That's terrible. Oh, my God. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Preacher got on there. And here's the thing. There was at least one family member that was allowed to be at the funeral home with the preacher, with the body and everything. And they said that he preached a really uplifting sermon, especially if you grew up Christian or something and used all the things we've all heard before. He got up there, acted like it was a full church house, even though it was just a webcam and one person, and he was like, See, Willie may be dead. We already know that. We know Willie dead, okay? But his body is dead. His soul is up there with the Redeemer, all right? His soul is with the one that ascended, all right? It's with the one that ascended. Willie out there doing moonwalking with Jesus right now. Don't mourn for Willie, all right? Willie having a good time up in the clouds. No pain, no suffering, okay? Willie in a better place now. Willie may be dead, all right? But he is not gone, all right? Sure. But his connection had a lag. So all we heard on our end was, Willie! Ass! Dead! Gone! I'm like, that about sums it up, but that's pretty rude. It's really good. It's for the best that I'm gonna die. Not now. I want to live a long life and everything and stuff. But still, like, eventually, we're done. And I say that because here's the thing. I feel at least, I don't know, but I think that I'm a good person and I do the best to make the world as good of a place as I can for the people that I meet. If I hurt someone, I try to fix it. And if someone is hurt already, I try to make them feel better, I just want to help. And I think I'm as progressive as you can get. I don't know, maybe. But give me 80 years. I'm sure I'll hit a wall somewhere. It happens to everybody. Everybody hits a wall. They act like there's this huge, there's this huge battle between the generations, and there's not. It's just medicine got too good. So people that were nice and then should have died are still alive and very upset, saying terrible things. And I'm not better than anybody. I could be one of them, I know people who marched in the civil rights movement, right? For equality. Just be able to have what someone else has by virtue of being a person. And they got dog sicked on them. And they got the shit beat out of them, okay? And even with some of them, just some, but even with some of them, if you bring up marriage equality, they're like, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy? What were you doing it for then? The 60s, you're over there holding hands, holding the line, sitting in, singing We Shall Overcome. Who would have thought your grandson would have to overcome you, What? Tell me I'm wrong. It's true. And I want to find out what my line is. I like just be that dude that was nice to everybody, and then he died. Sounds like a pretty good life. Because I'm a super progressive guy now, but give me 80 years. I'll find a thing. I won't even do it on purpose. I just won't get it, I won't be a bad person. I just won't understand. I don't know what it is now, but it's coming. In fact, I can take a guess at what it is. It's gonna be robots. It will. AI is getting too good. It's not too long before they put it in a body, all right? And then they're just walking around amongst us and everything. And then, years later, my granddaughter brings home a robot to Thanksgiving, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And now I'm that old racist at the table, Nice young man. Could be more respectful in my house, right? But I'm sitting there saying all the racist stuff. Lean over to my granddaughter like, you can fuck him, but don't marry him, all right? Grandpa, what? 20 minutes into dinner, I'm like, hey, Siri, pass the salt. Grandpa, what? You can't say that. That's their word, okay? I invent the word, I think I get to say it. No. Hour into dinner. What is it? So what, your grandpa like a blender or something? Grandpa, what? His grandfather was a blender, okay? And they kept him in the house and they worked him to death and then they threw him out when he got old. Nah, at least he was in the house, you know? Wasn't one of these outside robots. He wasn't like he was a lawnmower or something. He didn't have it that hard. No. Haven't we done enough for you people? Gotta watch you every day. We didn't do anything. I didn't do anything to you. They liked the work. They didn't complain, you know? Now every weekend can't go anywhere without you guys marching. Talking about how bot lives matter, whatever. And then I die and nobody's sad. The thing that I love about telling that joke is that in it, I actually make up a form of bigotry, but this is so Brooklyn that some of you were like, you need to check your organic privilege, all right? Just because he's made at nuts and bolts does not diminish his personhood, all right? I made it up. It's not gonna happen, I promise you. Here's the thing. We're in a time where, as a comic, it feels like there's another level. It feels like you have to do two things. You have to both give people permission to laugh and make them laugh. Because we're in a very tense time where a lot of terrible things are being said, but a lot of people don't mean to say terrible things, and a lot of people are worried about what people will think if they say something, and it's tense. And so you have to give people permission, like, hey, here, right now, we might as well be family. We're having a good time, and I'm sharing my thoughts with you, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you don't, I understand. But I want to open up the floor and give you permission to have the best time possible with the things that I'm saying. And then you have to give people something good enough to laugh at. I say that because this next thing... I'm telling you, I want you to have a good time with it, because I did. I was visiting one of my friends, and over the pandemic, he got a bird, which is weird. I don't know. It is. Like, he lives in a studio. It's the biggest bird I've ever seen, and now his apartment is a quarter bird. It's just... It is cumbersome. It is a reverse Maya Angelou in there. Just bird upset. Nobody's having a good time. It's weird because it was odd of him to see a majestic creature and be like, well, if I can't be outside, neither can you, you know? But he did. He got this bird, and it's a parrot. I know it's a parrot, but it's the biggest parrot I've ever seen in my entire life. And while I was hanging out at his place, at one point he went to the bathroom. And when he went to the bathroom, I don't know, I can't be certain, but I'm almost sure, that while he was in the bathroom, the parrot said the N-word. And I don't know, I wasn't sure if I had picked up on it at first, because it didn't say it like a dude, it said it like a bird. You know, I'm just sitting there on my phone and I hear, and I'm like, that wasn't it, but it was, it had all the notes. That might have been it, you know? But I was like, no, I'm tripping. I just went back to my phone and then I heard, and I'm like, that was slower. That one might have been spot on. I think he's trying to tell me something. But even if he is, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna fight a bird? I went back to my phone, shook it off, and then the third one Third one had some stank on it. Third one was like, "Nah." I'm like, that's... And when I turned around, he was looking at me. I'm like, he is clearly doing this. But it was weird. I didn't know what to do. I was frozen because saying cracker is their whole thing, and he went fully left. I've talked a lot about being on my phone, and I've only mentioned the internet a couple times. I think it's important to point out that the internet, all it is an amplifier. You know, when the internet came along, it changed everything. It changed the world as we live in it. It changed what we care about. It changed our priorities, all that stuff. But all it really is, deep down, is a transformer. It's an amplifier. And if you want to do good, it's going to help you do more good than you've ever done in your entire life. You're going to reach people that you never could have otherwise. And if you want to do evil, it is going to take you to a darker place than you could ever imagine. Like, for the good things, right? As a good example, there was a little girl. Some of you may have even seen the story. There was a little girl that was 8 years old, and she had brain cancer. And her parents didn't have a lot of money, and they didn't have the best insurance. So as Americans, we were gonna let her die. That is what we do here, all right? She, obviously, being 8 and having a bad brain and not having money was irresponsible. She should have pulled herself up by her 7-year-old bootstraps and made enough money to support her dumb cancer brain, right? That's American dogma, okay? So we were gonna let her die. But she said, no, I'm not gonna die, all right? Not without a fight, okay? And so she decided to sell lemonade. She was gonna sell lemonade to raise money for her surgery, right? Which is adorable, but sweetie, that's not gonna cut it. Unless you are charging champagne levels for this lemonade or have child soldier factory levels of it being pumped out and produced, you're not gonna make it. I'm sorry. But as she was selling the lemonade, every person that she sold a cup of lemonade to, she told her story. She told them why she was selling the lemonade. And then those people started to tell people. And then through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, someone started GoFundMe for this little girl. And then she blew the amount of money that she needed for her surgery out of the water, right? Which is great. That's amazing. That's the power of the internet. That's the ability for us to connect. When we all have access to each other, we can make an impact. We could change each other's lives, you know? But there's also a bad side. We all know it. When I was in high school, there was this group of kids that they were cool, and I liked them, and I liked that they liked me, but they terrified me because all they ever did was prank each other. And it was like too hardcore, and it was really mean, and it weirdly always brought them closer together, but it terrified me, you know? Because they were heinous to each other, but it somehow just strengthened their bond. So I was glad that they liked me, but I didn't want to be in the group. And it was 4 of them. It was 2 guys and it was 2 girls. And normally, like, the coming of age story would tell you that they're all going to hook up, but that's not what happened. Everyone in the group had a different significant other outside the group except for one girl. Her name was Beth. And it was hard for Beth to find somebody because she was too intense. She was a lot, you know? She always felt the need to up the ante, take things further than they should go, you know? Until she met a guy. She met a guy on the internet, and they hit it off immediately. She thought he was cute. They had the same sense of humor. They wanted to go travel the same places. And every day she would come to school and she would tell us about this. She would tell us, like, oh, you know, he's so cool, I like him so much, and here's what we talked about and everything. And then Friday came, and on Friday she told me that he wanted to meet on Saturday. And I told her, oh, don't do that. That is a terrible idea, because I should point out, this isn't online dating in 2021. This is online dating in 2008. Okay? In 2021, there's bios, there's mutual friends, there's pictures from multiple angles. In 2008, all you were getting with online dating was a description that was hopefully accurate enough to give the police. And so I told her, no, don't go. Because I should point out, this guy didn't give her an address to come to. He said, meet me in this neighborhood, through this alley, through this door. And I was like, you honestly making it too easy to kill you. Do not go. That sounds like a murderer, okay? But she was young, and she was in love, and so she went. She went to that neighborhood, through that alley, through that door. And when she walked through that door, it was a funeral home. She was so confused. You know, she was looking around everything. She walked around the whole funeral home, and she saw that there was only one funeral, and it was his. And she was so confused. She was looking at him, looking at his family and everything. She couldn't understand it. And then she got a call on her phone, and it was her friends. And they had pranked her. You see, they found this dude's picture in the obituary. And so they took it and they made an online profile with it, and then they found her, and then they just chopped it up. They just chatted, and because they know her so well, they obviously could make her fall instantly in love with this guy. They know all of the things that she likes. They know her sense of humor. They know the places that she wants to travel when she gets out of high school, you know? And so they had her come there on a Saturday, Valentine's Day, by the way, to come see the dead body of this dude she had fallen in love with. That is how dark the internet can be. That is what happens when we all have access to each other. We can change each other's lives for the worse. I know right now you feel bad for Beth. Don't. Okay? She got him back. Over the course of a decade, she banged all of their dads. I told you she was intense. She felt the need to up the ante. Because that's not all she did. She married one. And we honestly don't know if that's still part of it. Maybe she loves this man, or maybe she's like, you got me good in high school, and now I'm your mom. I'm gonna write you out of the will. Ha 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 ha. Guys, I'm Josh Johnson. Thanks so much. You have a great night. Thank you so much for coming out. I can't believe we did it. We did it. Give it up for yourselves again. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. One second. I feel like I'd be making a huge mistake if I didn't say an extra thing right now. So a lot of you can't know, this thing was supposed to happen a year ago. And because of the pandemic, we had to hold it. We wanted to do it in a way that made everybody safe and everybody could still have a good time. And so I know I'm up here, but I'm not the only one that put a lot of work and a lot of sweat and tears. There are people who couldn't even be here tonight. They have to like zoom in from LA. So I hope I don't have a lag. They'll think I was bombing. But like, but please, I want you to give it up for Comedy Central. Give it up for Viacom. Give it up for your director, David Paul Meyer. Give it up for all the amazing people that have kept us safe tonight. Every person that has kept your mask on, you, all the stuff, please. And one last thing. This has been so important to me. It's been one of the most important things in my life. I grew up watching Comedy Central. I grew up watching specials. And so now to have one is absolutely insane. It's a dream come true, and you are all part of that. And I want to thank you so much for being here and for being part of it. You mean the world to me. You really do. And honestly, if last year taught us anything, it is to do whatever it is that you want. Whatever it is, if you think you can't do it, if you think you won't be able to do it, you will eventually. You just give it time, and I promise you, if you don't give up, I promise you, you can make things happen, okay? A couple people have said that I inspired them to do comedy and everything, but I hope I can inspire you to do whatever it is that you want. It's so important, especially now. Life is precious, and it's not promised, you know? I've had people ask me what I feel like my life would be like if I didn't follow my dreams. You know, if I didn't get on a plane from Louisiana and move to Chicago to start doing comedy and just be dirt poor and doing open mics. Until I finally got comfortable in Chicago, and then I was scared to move to New York, but I did that too. And people ask me what I think my life would be like if I didn't get on those planes, if I didn't take those chances, if I didn't meet Trevor Noah. And I have to tell them, I guess we'll never know. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out on this exceptionally hot summer. This is genuinely crazy. This is like, this it's bad. It's bad. Like, when you walk outside, you don't even appreciate the sunlight. You know what I mean? It's beautiful out, and you're like, oh, God. This is the type of weather where you're like, Greta was right. We might be doomed. We should have been listening when she was sailing or whatever the first thing she said was. It was really bad. This is the type of weather where it's so hot you start getting weird offers. Like, you go outside and there's just somebody standing on the corner like, hey, you give me $1 and I let you sit on my ice. I don't see any ice out here, sir. Trust me, there's ice. There's a bag behind you. It's also tough because I feel like it changes relationships too, you know? Like, it's so hot, somebody could live so close, but the test of love is which one's leaving their apartment. You know what I mean? Like, you know? You'll live next to somebody a 15-minute walk away, but it'll be like, I could die. I can't be doing that just out willy-nilly just for you to see me. We can FaceTime, all right? Like, I feel like even the way people are sexting must be different, you know? You're just texting somebody, middle of the day, like, hey, I got that AC. Oh no, it's not a window unit, babe. We doing central over here. I'll come through and get chilly, baby. It's like weirdly still sexual, but it's all cooling related. Like, I got popsicles. If you're feeling freaky, we could both just sit in front of the open fridge door. No, I was in Philly last weekend, and it was so hot. It was in the 90s, and it was so hot it made me want to be like a scammer. Like I wanted to just start going to like Zillow open houses. Places I have no intention on putting an offer down on. Just to stand to the AC, be like, oh, 2.5 bath, okay. And we actually have a beautiful patio outside. No, I believe you. I can see it. I can see it through the door. I can see it. No, don't do that. Oh. Sometimes someone that you love very, very much, right? Someone you care about deeply comes to you with a problem, and this problem is something like weighing heavily on them, right? It's taking up all their mental space or anything. And you love this person, right? And they come to you and they're telling you their problem. They're trusting you with whatever it is. And while they're telling you their problem, you realize that it's boring. Don't do that. Don't be good people right now. We've all had somebody come to us, a brother, a sister, an aunt. Someone has come to us, and you, as they're telling you their problem, you're like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Like, why are they even telling me? I can't even help. What are they doing? This is ruining my Saturday. So sometimes someone that you love very, very much, deeply, comes to you with something serious to them that's a real problem, and it's boring. But somehow, overhearing a stranger's problem is always fascinating. I'll give you some examples. So a couple weeks ago, I was on the bus because life ain't going the way you think, right? And so I was on the bus, you know, the people's limousine, right? And I was on the bus, and I was holding the rail, and another guy next to me was holding the rail, but he had his phone like this, right? Like tucked into his arm. And he was just like, I don't know what to do, all right? I do not know what to do. She keep fucking dudes off Facebook Marketplace. Yes. I'm in. Tell me all. Because this man's on his phone like, I can't even trust her to go get a lamp. A couple days later, I was also on the bus because once again, life could be better, right? We'll get there, but until then, community Uber, right? And as I got on, I sat down next to this guy. Now, this guy is being louder, out loud, than my AirPods can get in my ear. So I don't even feel like I'm eavesdropping now. He offering this up to the class, okay? And so he's putting his phone down when I sat down next to him, but he was, calls somebody else. And basically, he calls this next person and tells them that the person he just got off the phone with was a woman who he had been hooking up with who just called him to tell him that she was pregnant and she was keeping the baby, right? And I don't know the best place, but the bus is one of the worst places to find out you're gonna be a father, all right? The bus is top 3 bad places to find out you're gonna be a daddy, okay? It goes jail, the toilet, the bus, right? And so this man is like, talking on the phone, and then he goes, yeah, it's wild because we didn't even have sex this year. And I was like, oh no. He's gonna be a father. And they kept talking and they kept talking. Now I can't hear the other person on the other side of the line or anything, but I can just hear the like I can just hear, I can hear that noise is happening, right? And so then they must have asked the question that was on my mind, which was, when was the last time y'all slept together? And it was like, yeah, I haven't even seen her, or like, we haven't hooked up since like August of last year. And I was like, uh-oh. He's not about to be a father. Like, oh. Fellas, we gotta start learning at least a little bit about women's bodies. If nothing else, so we can't get fleeced like this. Like, this is... Because this man said, without stuttering, he was like, yeah, she about 10 months along, right? I was like... oh. And then they kept talking, they realized he actually did get the math wrong, right? The math was wrong. It was 11 months. And I was like, okay, so when do I step in now as a stranger, right? Like, when do I step up and step in to help? Because I've been missed my stop. I missed my stop. I missed my stop at 10 months, right? And so I'm at least 11 minutes that way, right? And so finally, I leaned over to him. I was like, hey, bro, I couldn't help but hear, we all heard. I couldn't help but hear, and I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you're not about to be a father. The bad news is you should maybe never be a father. You also overhear wild stuff, like the heat changes people for real. Like there are things people do in the heat that they would not do otherwise. Like I was walking my dog, and in the background, like way down the street on the corner, I heard a little kid get into a fight with the ice cream man. Because once again, I'm walking my dog, and just in the distance I hear, nigga, it's a nickel. Even my dog was curious. Like, my dog and I both turned around. And the ice cream man was like, I don't care what it is, you short, little man. And this kid looked up, I don't know how old he was, looked up at the ice cream man, head can't reach the counter, and goes, your dick is short, I want my chocolate. how did we get here? How did these two individuals come together in this moment? Because one, who is this kid? But two, what happens in your life where you become an ice cream man that's really here to nickel and dime these kids? Like, that's really here to like actually buy actual nickels and dimes. Who says to themselves, you know what, I love passing out joy, but you know who needs to be taken down a peg? These children, okay? I'm trying to figure out what type of friend I am. You know, I think I'm a good friend to a certain degree. I feel like if I discover for myself the type of friend that I am, I'll be a better version of that friend to everybody, right? Because I'll know my limits, I'll know what I'm willing to do, what I'm not, and everything. And I'm quickly realizing that I am not the advice friend. Don't come to me. Truly, don't come to me at all, because my advice to you will be directly related to how your problem affects me. I'm trying to let everybody know that now, in case, because you know, you never know. Sometimes you meet someone at the show, y'all become friends in real life, and then maybe they have a problem and they come to me, they're like, Josh, what should I do? I'm telling you right now, I am not objective. I'm not the one, right? Like, for instance, I have a lot of friends that are getting married this summer into the fall, right? So the big wedding season and everything. And so a couple of my friends have come to me, right? And you just need to know, if you're having troubles are normal, right? People get cold feet, people fight a lot leading up to a wedding, the stress, people's families sometimes don't get along, that stress. You know what I mean? Like, all of it is normal. But if you come to me, my advice to you will be directly correlated to if I already bought the gift. Because I had a friend come to me, his wedding was about, 2 weeks out, he was devastated and everything, and he was a good friend, so I had already bought his gift off the registry. It was a Vitamix 3500, so it was, yes. See, exactly, yes. 100%, yes. And so I'd already got that Vitamix, and anytime a relationship seems shaky, I look up the return policy just in case. And this particular model, they didn't carry anymore. So he comes to me, and he's upset and everything, going on, and I'm just looking at the receipt. And so finally, he looking at me to say something. I was like, dog, you love her. Like, she your moon, your stars, all that stuff. Like, everybody cheat, okay? She gonna stop probably, like. I had a different friend come to me, and this friend, the wedding was about like 2 days, like two days out, and my man comes to me, and his problem was very specific, deeply specific. Basically, his fiance and the wedding planner had planned out the whole wedding, pretty much top to bottom. They weren't really asking him for much, but then he was offering up. He was like, is there anything that you need me to do that I can take off your plate? And she was like, no, we got it. And he was like, well, there's got to be something. Like, I want to be involved somehow. And so then she told him that basically they had everything planned down to a T, but he could pick the place mat at the reception, right? Like the little place that as long as it was in line with the color theme, he could pick that. And so then my buddy poured over for like several days all these like little different, you couldn't even tell the difference between them, all these different placemats and stuff, and was like trying to make a good decision on the right one and everything. And he finally picked one, and basically, it seems like maybe she didn't like it because she had the wedding planner change it last minute. And then they didn't really talk about it. So his feelings were kind of hurt because he was like, oh, that was my one thing, and I took some real pride in doing it, and she didn't say anything to me. And it was a destination wedding, and I hadn't bought my ticket yet. I hadn't bought my ticket, and I hadn't got a gift yet. And so he was telling me about it, and I was like, I wouldn't take that if I was you, dog. Like, for real. Sometimes you gotta put your foot down, all right? I've been watching some of the, older people in my life and everything, and it's crazy. My friend, his grandparents were together until his granddad passed away. And his granddad probably passed away at like 85 or something like that. But him and his grandmother got married young. So they were together for like 62 years or something like that. It was crazy. And people always want to know the sort of secrets to staying together and like having that sort of relationship, that bond. And, he said that his grandma basically summed it all up very quickly. She was like, if you want to be with somebody for the rest of your life, you have to know and accept that the first year is lust. The next 10 years are love. And everything else after that is spite. And she said spite without missing a beat. Like she's like, that's a secret ingredient. Like every day you wake up and you're like, we go to war. And basically, she tells this story about how the night that his grandpa passed away, they had this routine where his granddad pretty much wouldn't even sleep in the bed anymore. He would sleep in his chair that could recline like his lazy boy, and then he would be falling asleep watching TV or something like that. But on that night, he went to bed with his grandma, and he passed away in his sleep. Which is how a lot of people want to go. It's very peaceful, next to somebody you love. And then he wasn't there, but his mom was. And his mom said that when she woke up, she was getting ready and like making breakfast and stuff. And she heard his grandma from the room. And what she heard wasn't like some blood curdling scream or some like cry out or anything. She said she just heard, oh! What? Ooh. And she apparently even said at the funeral that, so many people were coming up to her and telling her how sweet it was that he went to make sure he was laying in bed with her the night that he passed instead of like in his chair or something. And she was like, ain't nothing sweet about it. He did that on purpose. He knew. No, he knew he was gonna die that night. And he wanted to put his cold ass feet on me one more time. Because they were cold when he was living, but then they were cold, right? And at a certain point, you get used to the cold, and then you turn around and he all. Just laying up there like. And I told him take out that trash, and he didn't do it.
Mira.